Good afternoon, I'm Lynn, and welcome to another day at Ewetopia Farms. And today we're harvesting the barley. Okay, I've made it to the barley field, and they are definitely in the right one. This is the fall barley we've got coming off here right now, and it looks like we got lots of golden straw. And Cody, who we talked to in the morning in the last video, he's in the combine right now. Got a call out to Corey Doyle, who took the hay from us. He's going to be heading out here and baling this all up for us, because if you remember, his baler has that mesh wrap on it. Our baler does not pick up and bale the fine straw that's in smaller pieces very well, but Corey's does do that, so he's gonna head over here and start baling that up for us. Okay, we got Andrew and Scott here, and they're standing around while Corey's doing the work. These guys are, I guess, supervising. Is that what this is?
Hanging out.
Just hanging out. It's kind of like city workers. One does all the work.
This is management, second management.
If we stay here long enough, the work will be done at home when we get home.
Yeah. And I'm paying the bill.
Well, yeah, I guess you got a machine doing the work for you at home.
Cody's got no air conditioning.
Corey.
Corey.
Cody.
Cody's got no air conditioning.
Oh my goodness, why do we always get...
Because
there's so many Codys and Corys around.
This is Cody, isn't it?
That's Cody.
Okay, well,
Cody.
Cody Ward's the same thing, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, Cody.
Yeah.
Okay.
So Cody...
Corey Doyle. You phone Cody Doyle?
Yeah, I called Corey Doyle. He wants to know if you want him over here now or tonight or when.
Right now.
Just shoot him a text.
We were calling him Corey, and it's Cody. Cody and Corey. Corey's on his way. Cody's working on the grain. Here's a bit of the barley that fell out of the bin. It's a different type of barley, this fall barley. It's a little more yellow, but they tell me it looks pretty good. Oh, the dust. Boy, I gotta tell you, that's dusty. Look at all the straw. That's a crazy amount of straw that's coming off too. And Corey says he's going to be here by 4 o'clock, so I think that's like an hour. Yeah, that's tons of straw. So I was talking to Andrew here about all this straw that I'm sitting in. Like, you could lay in here. It's like it's a big mattress. There's so much of it, and it's so clean and puffy. But I was gonna have him talk to you about it, and oh my God, with my camera, when it's bright light, I can't see half the time if it's on or not. So he was talking about it, and unfortunately, it wasn't on. Anyway, so what he was saying, sorry Andrew, is that this straw is looking really nice. It's nice and yellow. It's pretty long this year. Maybe it won't fall apart so much when we bale it, and hopefully Corey has no problems baling it this year, because if you were watching last year, there was a lot of problems with baling it because it was really fine and it was kind of plugging up the baler. Our baler couldn't handle it at all. And then Corey came in to bale it, and his baler broke down, and then we had to hire in somebody to bale it. So it was quite a rigmarole last year. So hopefully when Corey comes over this time, it will all bale up nicely and it'll be done smoothly and finished today. Cody and Andrew and Scott have a dairy farm not too far from us, and they do this custom work. And Cody here just quit his job at the John Deere dealership, and he's going to be doing this full time. So he's going to be taking over the spraying of the crops next year. And he assures us that no crops will be sprayed that shouldn't be sprayed. We're going to trust him on that one. But we were thinking that in a future video, if you guys are interested, we might pop over and do a video of their operation. Not sure how many cows they have, but they can fill us in on that. But they have Holsteins, and they have just gotten a robot milker recently. So they've got all that new technology, and they got tons of silos and all kinds of stuff like that. So it might be an interesting day to go over and visit and see how the rich half live. So this is the field that has those, I call them the duck holes in the spring, where I said it would make a nice property for putting in a pond. And right now Cody is driving around those holes. Of course, it's the middle of summer now, so they've pretty well dried up. So there's no visible water in there, but it's a wet section, so we don't plant anything in that. And we just go around those little dips. Sure you don't get in the way of these machines. but he's got a really big head on that combine, so he's gonna be finished this field in no time. I think it's only like 15 acres or something. So this is a piece of barley that's still on the stalk with its beards on. The little spikes at the end here are the beards. Sheep can't really eat that because it's kind of prickly and it can stick in their throat. So the combine knocks all those beards and stuff off the barley. And you can see they're all growing in there. And Arnie told you that I think this was 6-sided. And when it comes off, this is what it looks like. Now Arnie's just gotten back with a bin so that Cody can fill all these bins up as he goes around the field. I think we're working with 3 of them right now. I guess they're called gravity wagons. I work on a farm, but I'm a city girl at heart still, so I always just call them whatever. So this one's got grain in it, you can see. So they've got little peepholes so you can see the grain inside the wagon. And what we're doing with this barley right now is it's going back to the farm, our farm, and we're gonna load as much of it as possible into one of our bins to feed to the sheep. And any barley that is left over after our bin is filled up, then that will be sold to market. Because if you recall, we have a spring barley field as well. So Cody's coming over now and he's gonna empty the grain out of there. He's just moving that. It's the thing that carries the head from the combine over to the field, because that combine head, the thing that's cutting the barley down, is way too long to drive on a road. So it has to be mounted and removed every time he goes from field to field. And it gets put on that thing for transport. I'm sure it has a very technical name too. But from this distance you can see the dust. Luckily there's a wind too, so I'm not breathing that in too much. Arnie's just hooking that wagon, to the tractor. And he's gonna bring that home. And like I say, he's gonna load it into our bin. I think he's gonna mix it with the leftover corn we have, so that we feed that mixture to the sheep right away. Willow's just gave us an offer on the barley, and we didn't think it was a very good offer. He wanted to give us $200 a ton. We thought that was low, and that we were better off keeping it to feed the sheep, because to buy it in is very expensive, because once you sell it, you gotta buy it back, and there's shipping and transport and drying and all these other costs that they add to it. So that's why farmers, if they can, they like to grow their own, to avoid all those additional charges on everything. So for the combine operators, going around those holes is probably a little bit annoying, because they like to go straight up and down, get things done a little quicker, instead of having to maneuver around obstacles. But it is what it is. You work with what you have. That's why I always say this is a kind of a character field. It would be nice for a lot for someone, I think, in the future maybe. And when you see Arnie mowing down hay, he seems to be going pretty fast when he does that. But with the combining, they have to slow it down a lot more, because they want to make sure that all the grain gets knocked off and nothing gets plugged up. The last thing you want is a breakdown on a combine. We're really happy that Corey is able to come over here this afternoon to bale this up right away, because if you can see in the distance, there's clouds forming, and we're under a severe thunderstorm watch for tonight. And we want to, as usual, we want to get it off before any rain hits. I'm going to walk up to the back end of this field so we can get another angle. And he's been doing the front end of the field anyway, so he's going to be working back here now. You can see how close to the ground they cut the barley off. So you have to be very careful to remove all the rocks before the combine comes in, because you don't want the combines picking up rocks. And so every year when Arnie's working the fields, you'll hear me say that he's picking up rocks too, because every year you find them. But I'm thinking this field looks really clean. And over there is one of my favorite trees that I photograph all the time from this field. It's some nice bulrushes growing up in the front here. This ground is all tile drained. Some countries don't do that, but in Canada we do it. So it's putting like irrigation tiles throughout the property so that it doesn't maintain moisture, like hold it so it's soggy ground, because as you can see by the bulrushes that are growing here, naturally this would have been quite swampy land, and that's why we have those duck holes. You can only tile drain so much. But it's a common practice here because we have an overabundance of moisture in the ground, which is a good problem to have. But I know some of the drier countries have never heard of tile drainage because they don't need it. Okay, so I'm at the back of the field now. Arnie's still not back from offloading the grain. And if I scan around here, that barn over there, that was my old farm where I used to live. And when I was there, that's where I had my Dorper sheep and the Shetlands, and the farm name was Woolly Acres. And when I turn in the other direction, you can see a beautiful hayfield back there. And that's where Arnie was taking the second cut off yesterday. That's our field as well. It fronts on two roads, so that hayfield is fronting on the road we live on, whereas this barley field here is fronting on a different road, the one I used to live on. So he's offloaded that and he's heading to the back here now. This was the field that was supposed to have been sprayed for weeds. He did come and spray it for weeds after he sprayed the alfalfa field. But again, with the combine, you want there to be not too many weeds in the field because it also can plug up the combine. And of course it contaminates not only the straw, but the barley itself. And when I'm back here, I see that it looks like he lifted his head here just for a second and put it back down again. And I'm guessing he thought that the amount of weeds that was in this little patch was unacceptable for going through the combine, so he lifted it up. If that's the case, I can see right here there's a patch of those weeds too. They're dead, but not dead enough that they're not standing there, so I don't know what he's going to do with that patch, because there's quite a lot of them actually back here. Hopefully it won't be too much of a problem. It's another scorching day today. A good day for taking in the harvest. I see a blue tractor down there with a red baler. That means Corey has arrived. So he's gonna start baling at the same time as we're combining. And there he goes. We got our fingers crossed that the baling goes well this time. Last year it was kind of a disaster. But you can see the size of the combine when the tractor's there too. As I walk through the field, we think we've had enough rain, but if you look carefully, you can see all the cracks in the soil. We definitely need more, so we do want that storm to come through. Now we got another tractor coming into the field. Arnie's arrived back with an empty gravity wagon. Just look at how thick this pile of straw is. Lots and lots of nice bedding here. It's never a good sign when the guy baling stops and gets on the phone. So apparently a sensor came off and Corey has to go get a bolt to put it back on. So he's gonna borrow the car, and luckily he doesn't live too far away. Looks like they're done this field. They have a really small field down the road to do too. Corey still isn't back, looking for a bolt, but he'll be heading back here shortly to continue with the baling, and hopefully that solves the problem with that, because it's definitely getting cloudier. So right now he's putting that head on that transport wagon that I talked about earlier. He's going to unhook it, and they're going to head over to that other field to finish off. Neighborly conversations here. He's smiling, so that's always a good sign. Better than someone going away with a repair. Okay, so these guys are getting ready to head out. Arnie's got the head hooked onto his tractor. And hopefully they can get around Corey's tractor here. Corey's not back yet. But Cody's on his way out. And there goes Arnie. Always getting out of the fields with this big equipment is a little challenging. People who are driving off on these country roads have to be very observant at this time of year because you will often find farm equipment on the roads. And they're off. Okay, so Arnie's got to offload this barley now. Corey and his dad went back to the field to see if any of the bolts that they found here would fit, but it's not looking promising. But he's got to get this offloaded quickly now because Cody is at the other field waiting probably for a wagon to load up. Up the auger. Got a waterfall of barley. So that barley goes in there and it gets augered up there, and then it goes all the way up here to the tank. But we're gonna need a shower tonight. Boiling, boiling hot, and so much dust. We're filthy. So that the wagon is empty now. Now he's got to offload the next wagon, so he's just got to pull it up here. So we're gonna call that a day on the combining, and tomorrow we'll continue on with the baling of the straw, hopefully. So until next time, please be sure to give us a like, and don't forget to see how this all turns out for us. Bye for now.